Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Charlton from MLC Tech, and now we have had months of speculation and rumours suggesting what the next generation of Xbox will be. With it being heavily rumoured that the next generation of Xbox will be a hybrid of a PC and a console, supporting Xbox games alongside PC games. But in what shape and form that may take, it remained a mystery. But as of today, we finally have confirmation as to where the next generation of Xbox hardware is actually going. So sit back and relax as we dive into what is Microsoft's Project Helix. Now, as of today, it was officially announced and confirmed by Xbox Gaming's new CEO, that being Aisha Sharman, who recently replaced Phil Spencer. Now, she made a post on social media today confirming the direction of Project Helix and, of course, its new name. Now, of course, that is only its code name and will be some other obscure name that Xbox has seen. Hopefully they return to a more clear naming scheme, such as 360, 1XX, and I don't know, whatever they're going to call the next Xbox. But in her post today, she confirmed that the upcoming device will aim to lead in horsepower and will support both Xbox and PC games. Though in what form that may take, I have some doubts. With it being said in her post saying, "Great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we have talked about our commitments to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix," even though that was long in development and works when Phil Spencer was in charge. The codename for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Now, since taking over Xbox last month, Sharma has emphasised her commitment to the return of Xbox, although she said the company will refocus on the console itself. But with that said, the announcement of Project Helix appears to confirm the long-standing rumour that Microsoft's console and the PC division will grow even closer than ever before. With there being heavy talk as of last year that the next Xbox will be essentially a pre-built PC that remains backwards compatible with Xbox titles that run on the Series X. And we saw hints to that. For example, last year we saw the ROG Xbox Ally launch, which was the start of Xbox optimizing Windows for gaming devices, bringing a more unified launcher for Xbox games that were running on the PC launcher app, as well as other gaming launchers such as Steam. And with Xbox taking this approach and saying how everything is now an Xbox, including your fridge, third parties could potentially take on a hybrid console approach too. Asus could get into the console market potentially with a hybrid PC design. With the likes of the Steam Machine coming out soon, they probably would want a decent competitor, especially in the PC space where other third-party OEMs would want a shot at competing. But that is just speculation at this stage. But if that was to happen, it would reaffirm Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who has expressed ambition to create a universal gaming ecosystem, even though he apparently had to be begged not to scrap it to begin with. Apparently, Nadella considers Windows Microsoft's the most important gaming platform, and the company aims to streamline the operating system game experience over the coming months and years. So while we have seen Microsoft take the shift and direction towards optimizing the PC for Xbox gaming and gaming as a whole, it remains to be seen how are they actually going to implement the actual Xbox version of this. Now, it's meant to be a hybrid PC approach where you can play your PC games and your Xbox games. But what do they mean by PC games? And could they make a pivot back to more of an exclusive ecosystem? Now, PC games, when we think of PC games, we think of Steam. You know, being able to run other launchers, Battle.net, the A launcher, even though Steam is the best launcher and the one you'd want to use anyway. With Xbox wanting to make a commitment back to console priority, you know, their hardware first approach where everyone's on the Xbox ecosystem trying to claw back their market share that way. The fact that you could sell an Xbox and you could play Steam games really questions Xbox approach, because they are bleeding due to the fact that people are going elsewhere for their games. Traditionally with console pricing, that manufacturers would sell the console at a loss and subsidize it via their game platform. But if everyone's buying an Xbox and then buying all their games on Steam, that questions the profitability of the system. Which is why it might give me doubts as to what they mean by a PC game. I really do hope that they go for the open approach where you can run Steam on this new Xbox. But if they mean by PC games that you buy from the Xbox store or the Microsoft store as it used to be on the PC, and then I think this might be dead in the water, this hybrid approach. Now this might be their way to say, oh, Xbox Play anyway, you know, if you buy a game on the PC Microsoft launcher, you can play it on the Xbox or your general PC that's not this Xbox. I really do hope that's not the approach to take, but given that it is Microsoft and they want to try and claw back some of their market share, it doesn't look good that they will be as open as they initially teased this project to be. I could be very wrong, and I hope they do make this open hybrid approach actually a hybrid open approach that is more like a PC. But it remains to be seen. I really do hope Microsoft will do the right thing, but it's not looking hopeful. But regardless of the software approach, let's take a look back at the actual hardware that could be behind the system. Now, leakers have provided a very clear picture of what the internal hardware could possibly be, which recent reports centers around an AMD design APU codenamed Magnus. Now, Magnus is believed to include 10 Zen 6 CPU cores and an unconfirmed number of GPU compute units based on AMD's upcoming RDNA 5 architecture. So, this could be a very impressive piece of hardware, especially if the 2027 launch date is still stuck by. The fact that this could be the first sign of a Zen 6 CPU, the first sign of an RDNA 5 GPU. If the price is right, Xbox could really be ahead of the game in terms of hardware, especially if it's the debut of this new architecture. Compared that to the Xbox Series X, which launched on a Zen 2 based architecture and RDNA 2 GPU, which by the time that came out, it was already a bit of an outdated design. But the fact that Xbox could be ahead of the game when it launches, that could be very substantial. Now, this Magnus APU should deliver substantial improvements in rendering, upscale, ray tracing, and possibly path tracing performance. Although AMD recently announced the chip will be ready for next year, rumours indicate that Microsoft has not yet set a firm internal launch date for its next console. But this new Xbox console could be a really good idea, especially to bridge the gap between PC and Xbox gamers. A lot of people love to play games on Steam, which is why the upcoming Steam machine from Valve looks like it could be very popular if it launches for the right price. But given the current RAM crisis, that might prove to be more difficult for most people to get hold of. And that could be the big initial push for Xbox to claw back that hardware market share, is to have something that appeals to more people, whereas the current Xbox has lost so many players just because who does it appeal to? Console gamers who want to play all the games and some console exclusives? They'll buy a PlayStation. If they want Xbox games and want the best game experience possible, you can do that on PC now. But with this change in approach, and if Xbox will allow Steam games on this PC approach, personally, I do hope it is just like the ability to run Windows, even though I rather have Linux. So you can use all your third-party launchers. I think that'd be a great idea. But if that is the approach that they're going for, this could also be a little dead in the water due to the pricing of it. As I mentioned earlier, Xbox used to take a cut on the hardware because they would subsidize the hardware cost with their game sales, their subscription service sales. They would make their profits back with that. But if they're going to be giving that up to the likes of Steam, potentially, then I think the hardware isn't going to be subsidized at all. It's going to have, if anything, Microsoft will go in the opposite direction. Instead of subsidizing the hardware, they're going to go way off on the other end and really try and claw a big profit from that. For example, it was recently reported how Microsoft has this flat 30% profit margin that you have to meet, even in the Xbox division, which is why we saw so many cuts, because Microsoft was setting an unrealistic profit margin for gaming divisions. So it's possible Microsoft aren't going to change their views on that profit margin, and they're going to want that 30% cut on that hardware. So if they do want to take such a big hardware profit margin, then it could price a lot of people out from even buying this as seen as a viable option. Many people might just say, why would I buy this? I'll just build my own PC or buy a PC from my OEM. But of course the appeal is this hybrid console approach, where it is designed to fit into your living room space, whereas typically PCs, you would build and then put on your desk setup. The operating system isn't optimized for that living room experience, which is why Xbox and Microsoft are trying to make changes to Windows to make it more appealing to use in that form factor. That's why SteamOS is so popular. I hated my ROG Ally with Windows on it. It sucked. The performance sucked, the usability sucked, but when I installed SteamOS, then suddenly this device made so much sense. When it was running Windows, I thought this thing is useless and a complete piece of shit. I hate using this. I almost sold it because I dreaded using it with Windows so much. But when SteamOS came to it, I fell in love with it, and I finally realized why this type of hardware is so popular. There is potential hope that this new device could be a pretty big hit, though I am very skeptical of Microsoft when Microsoft talks about openness and inclusion and opening up their platforms to more choice. Usually it means locked into Microsoft exclusive ecosystem, but hey, your fridge is now an Xbox. But you're still locked into their product ecosystem and software surface ecosystem. I really want to give it an open mind and hope for the best, but hey, it's Microsoft, and Microsoft don't sit good in my books at the moment. I sold my Series X because it offered nothing new compared to my PC or PlayStation 5, and quite frankly, with Microsoft's recent approach with the Windows ecosystem, the AI slopping everything, I sold it out of principle because I do not and cannot support Microsoft in their current state. I cannot support Windows, I cannot support Xbox, though I am always open to what they may do in the future. The Steam machine I'm very hopeful for it because Linux could be the perfect operating system for a desktop living room PC. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions around this announcement in the comments down below. What do you think that Xbox Project Helix will bring? And do you think this could be a return to form for Xbox? Or do you think this will be the much needed evolution in order to keep them relevant in the market? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Anyway, I've been Madison Charlton from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Goodbye for now.